In October of 2022, I took a trip from Taipei down to Tainan, also known as the birthplace of Taiwan. This historical city is home to National Cheng Kung University, which is a public research university with extensive engineering and computer science departments. Hey everyone, I'm here with Chi-Hua Yu, also called Jonny.
Yes.
And he is a professor at National Cheng Kung University in Taiwan in the Department of Engineering Science. You work in the program on smart and sustainable manufacturing.
Yes.
And Jonny, you were a research associate at MIT, or you are?
I was a research associate.
When was that?
I think from 2017 to 2020.
2020, so
Yes.
right before the pandemic. And that was for the Lab of Atomic and Molecular Mechanics.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
so your research has always focused on...
Atomic. We do multiscale modeling, so we focus on how we study things from bottom up.
Jonny, I've looked up, and 2 of your recently published papers have been on deep learning-based design of porous graphene, enhanced mechanical resilience.
Yeah, that's the one that focuses on using machine learning to design a very brittle stuff like graphene. Graphene is a new, like 2D materials has been attracted lots of attention recently.
It has.
I think since 2010, the Nobel Prize of Physics goes to the inventor of how to synthesize, how to find the real graphene. And since then, people have been devote several research efforts on how to study graphenes and get their properties.
Yeah.
But graphene, owing to the nature of graphene or carbon, it's covalent bond, so it's really brittle. And our aim and our study is try to use a deep learning model, because deep learning model is a new way, new algorithm can learn from tons of data as we've been maybe simulated or produced from maybe atomic simulations, MD, or mostly molecular dynamic simulation. And so it's a way that we can do like a fast screening. So to design those material with defect, it's an interesting thing, because people think defect is a bad thing in material, but in a certain way, in nanoscale, if we can control defect properly, then there could be a way that we can enhance or improve the mechanical property. So it's quite different from our common sense.
Intuition.
Yes, tuitionally, it's totally different.
Yeah.
But in nanoscale, everything is it's different, because we have to consider the probabilities and some mechanical property from for nanoscale have to consider the quantum mechanics as well. So that's one publications we've been working on, and it's my student now join I think an AI and healthcare company. Yeah, the first or the second author of the paper.
AI and healthcare?
Yeah, AI in healthcare. Yes, that's
cool.
It's called Jubo. It's very, I think it's a new company and focus on how to combine and apply AI and information technology to help doctors and some people for long like a daycare, home care, they need it.
Cool. Would you like to talk about end-to-end deep learning model to predict predict and design secondary
structure contents? Yes.
Yeah.
So, my research area have been divided into 2 different areas. The first one is about computational mechanics. So graphene and also the dry structure, bias structure is the first part, and the other part we do simulations and deep learning model to work on how can we design proteins, especially for certain proteins with specific like secondary content. And so what is the secondary content? So graphene is a nanoscale material. Also protein is another nanoscale protein.
Yeah.
It's like a polymer. But protein was made it's usually made by I think amino acid chain, a long chain of amino acids. So you can say that polypeptide or proteins. It's the important thing or interesting thing about protein is once you have the main chain, the primary, we call it primary structure.
Mm-hmm.
So how to connect all the amino acids together, it will affect the secondary structure, which means the local structure of a protein.
Okay.
So you can see the protein can be folded or like a coil,
Right.
coil-like.
I've seen the images of the giant.
Yeah, the coil
Crazy.
or the folded like a ribbon. They can
Right.
They can fold it together, and also with this secondary structure, they can also fold into a 3D structure that we call the protein folding.
Mm-hmm.
So the DeepMind of Google, they've been devoted tons of research effort and resources to determine the folding structure. But we still lack the design tool to design certain purpose because, for instance, if we talk about a coil type, it's alpha helix, and alpha helix is a secondary structure of protein that can lead to like a shared memory. So like your hair. Like your hair.
Okay.
Yes, hair is made by proteins. A tons of proteins. They have specific properties or specific functions.
Okay.
Right. So it relies on not just only the folding structure, also their mechanical property relies on secondary structure. So that's the way we can design proteins with certain like a desired secondary structure. If we can do that, then we can manipulate the mechanical property for proteins. So we develop a model that can predict the secondary structure with like optimization algorithm can help people to make some rules. I need maybe 50% of alpha helix, 30% of beta sheet, that the ribbon like protein structures. So with them we can manipulate the possible mechanical property like Young's modulus or viscoelastic properties for them and for scientists to synthesize.
That's a pretty big deal.
So yeah, I think it's a very useful tool people can use for biosynthetic or for people who like to create like silk protein. We would like to maybe make some hydrogel from silk protein. Yeah, silk protein. So it's a tool for design, and also we made our result also suggests it's possible, and also we can monitor some maybe mutations for each amino acid. So I think locally we can capture the difference for every, say, local structure difference.
Right.
So that's how we can use it to design proteins.
Yeah. So you like think you found like a way to control something.
Yeah, control the local structure,
which is
instead of the.
Which is crazy.
I think it's
That's
interesting.
pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is like heavily like biology focused.
Yes, biomaterial biology focus.
Right.
We have another paper recently just published. We focus on collagen, the stability of collagen.
I've seen that one too.
So that one was also used the same strategies, and we designed I think it's TTM, the melting temperature or the stability of the collagens. Because collagen is most abundant proteins in human body or every living organism. So it's the same strategy. We use it. We use the deep learning model to determine if we just input a sequence or tons of sequences. What is the outcome of maybe the stabilities or secondary structural contents, or maybe the elastic constants or in mechanical property of them. So in the following paper, we just published on PNAS, and it's more focused on how we design the temperature, the thermal stability of a collagen so they can exist or functional in human body. And then we did some experimental measurement to verify our design. The new collagens is exactly thermally stable in human body. So it's further improvement, further proof of our model is working and can be examined through experimental measurement. right? So it's I think it's quite interesting. So we are still working on how to
Sure.
how to use this kind of design tool to design stuff and make some useful applications.
That's what I was gonna. It's there's so much science in the world, and not all science is capable of being applied
Absolutely.
in like real life. It's a good science, but it's not always super relevant for people. But this sounds like it can be.
Yes, I think so. So that's why
exciting.
we're fighting for, and we're trying to make these kind of applications more and more so people can use it, and that will be. I think that will be fun.
Yeah, fun's a good word. Well, cool. Thanks for the deep dive into the recent research. That's awesome.
Yeah, anytime. So
Yeah.
So where are you from? You from United States?
Yeah. Ohio.
Ohio. Wow.
Yeah.
I remember people from Ohio has the most beautiful accent.
We do.
Yeah, right?
We do.
I remember that.
I've heard that like people on the news
Yeah.
study Ohio accent
Absolutely.
as like the most neutral American accent possible.
Yes. That's true. That's why you have a very like I think
It's
I
the
don't
right
know how to-
accent for my job.
Yes, it's a very good accent. But it's not just like some people have this very stiff accent. Like you can notice them.
Yeah.
But your accent is
Well,
really
you
smooth.
studied in Boston,
Yes, in Boston.
so some people in Boston,
Absolutely. Yeah.
not the cleanest accent.
I think. But for me, it's I think I remember one time I traveled to CNN at Atlanta, so that they say most of the anchor from Ohio or have the Ohio accent, so that's why I know that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
I guess I got lucky.
It just I think it's
It's
part of the I think it's part of the culture you grow up, right?
Yeah, well, I was born in the South in like Georgia. I lived in Texas for a little bit, but by the time I was 4, I was back in Ohio for the rest of my life, and that's
I
got-
think it's totally different in Southton.
yeah.
Southton.
Yes, I got lucky.
Yeah, but I think
I got
perfect accent.
Thank you. If you enjoyed this video and you want to get more super clear explanations on academic writing and publishing, then subscribe to the University English Hub. Thanks, and I'll see you in another video.